What's up, guys? Holy Hibachi here. Just wanted to take this Sunday morning to maybe do a little bit of a tutorial on breakfast. It seems like there's been some discourse lately, a lot of rumors going around. Most of them are not true about how I tend to make eggs. But first, a good breakfast doesn't start with eggs. That's merely the opening act. The real main course is obviously the bacon. I prefer to use the Hormel Seal Packs. You can sometimes find these on sale for $6.99 a pound, which is actually really good. Normally retail for about $13.99 a pound. I usually buy 5 or 6 pounds, freeze it, thaw it out the night before, comes out. We're going to be using a baking sheet lined with foil. The foil makes cleanup a little bit easier at the back end, and it'll also allow us a little bit more ease collecting the tallow. When the tallow renders out, we'll keep that and use it as a cooking fat going forward. So this, we're going to throw into a preheated 350-degree oven for amount of time noted as until it's done. I don't necessarily measure the time. I don't set the time. It is 350. You can put it in a cold oven before you preheat it. Some people choose to do that, but I don't. Just as a reminder, today's video is brought to you by Mountain Dew Kickstart. This is the orange citrus one. I have pretty much one every day. Really great nutrition in there. 5% juice. You can't get a higher percentage of juice in a beverage. It's actually the legal FDA maximum on juice. Dogs are playing there. We're going to get to work on this, and then as soon as we get a little bit further on, I will show you the eggs. See you on the other side. Hey guys, we're back here. No, stay over there. I'm going to open the oven. So bacon's coming along here. You can kind of do whatever you want to do as far as how done you like your bacon. I tend to like mine a little bit on the crispier side, but still a little bit of chew to it. So this is getting really close here, especially on the back there. Just wanted to kind of give you a mid-bacon update and go from there. All right, guys, just circling back here. So we've done a little bit of time there. We'll actually just give it one quick flip there for the last few minutes here. I recommend using tongs for this, but you don't have to. Also, just want to get out in front of it. There will be some people watching this video who will acknowledge that you can indeed cook bacon in a microwave, and it turns out just fine. I find that this oven method is a little bit better. But I think all of us can at least agree on one thing, and that is that pan frying bacon is absolutely for the fucking birds. Pan frying is the worst method of cooking bacon because you will get your fucking grease everywhere, and it's just really a stupid idea. Yeah, so this will go back in for about another 2 or 3 minutes or so, and then we'll be golden. Okay, so next step, we're going to be making some fries. We're going to be using the Instant Pot air fryer. It's one of my favorite methods of doing this. We're going to air fry them for approximately 10 minutes. That's going to give our breakfast burritos a little bit more structure, and it also, most importantly of all, and this is how you should really make all your content and all your breakfast meals, is it will contain pork, dairy, and a starch, thus creating the fulfillment that Mitch and Jake hate so very much. Both of them, their stomachs, if you're new to this channel, their stomachs are unable to process pork, dairy, and a starch at the same time. I don't know. Some say that their gene pool is weak and that their bloodline will be forgotten. I would say that's probably fairly accurate. But they're not really the target of this video. They're just catching strays. So we'll let those cook up real quick here, and then our bacon should be pretty much done here. Let's flip around here, and we'll pull these bad boys out of the oven. They're looking nice and crispy. Okay. And then from there, what we'll end up doing is we will transfer our bacon from the baking sheet to a paper towel lined plate. That will allow some of the excess grease to get soaked up here. Really allows for a little bit of a healthier bacon. Yeah, it just really is necessary to the health portion of it. Yeah, well, I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, guys, we're back. As you can see, I have cracked the eggs into the pan here. It is the only thing in the pan is just 4 eggs. I did break one of the yolks, but the great thing about scrambled eggs is that that's ultimately the end game anyways, so that'll work out just fine. We're going to turn on our burner here. I want to use about a medium heat here, a little bit over medium. I'm going to be using typically 1 tablespoon of butter per 3 eggs or so. So I'll be using a little bit more than a tablespoon of butter here. Dropping that one in. And then, yeah, that's really going to be the basis for what we're doing here. We're going to snag a mini spatula here, and the spatula is going to allow us to stir up these eggs and break up these yolks. It is advised to do this with 2 hands normally, but unfortunately I've been called out, so I have to do it with 1 hand today because I have to hold the camera. And as you scramble them up here, you'll notice the butter is just kind of floating around in there like an iceberg. That's actually okay. I don't know if you don't know this, butter actually melts at heat. So once the eggs begin to heat, the butter will melt as well, and the butter will actually provide us with a lot of good flavor in these eggs. It'll also provide the fat that we need to cook them properly. As you can see, our time to flip the fries. We'll be right back. Alright guys, fries are flipped and we're back to working on the eggs here. Have a nice flame below there, and we're just going to keep stirring this. As we get some curds forming in there, we're actually going to take it off the heat and continue to stir. I'm not certain exactly how well that it will work with me having to hold a camera at the same time. Unfortunately, I'm here alone. I don't have a professional cameraman. This isn't something I normally do. That was me reaching back to kick the dog off the counter. The new one is very stupid. I've never met a dog that steps in her own poop more than Minnie. Isn't that right? You're very dumb. And she's ugly too, so I mean, I don't really know how many redeeming qualities this second dog really has. As you can see, some curds are beginning to form on the bottom of this. So we're going to pull it off the heat here and continue to stir. Now, the heat is in the pot, so we don't have to have constant heat on the eggs while we cook them. We actually don't want constant heat on the eggs while we cook them because that will cause the eggs to cook too fast. Any kind of brown on your scrambled eggs is burnt. I need you to know that. It's not like up for debate. We'll move that handle off the fire as that would burn me, and I am prone to burning myself. You want your eggs to have moisture in them. You don't want them to be wet, as I've been accused of, but you also don't want them to be dry. So I'm not sure exactly where the discourse was. We'll put this back on the heat, get some more heat back in the pan. And this really doesn't take too long here. You can kind of see it is getting thicker. You can see the bottom of the pan as I begin to stir it. And that heat will continue to cook the eggs from the bottom, and it's important to continue to scrape the curds off the bottom. That's basically what scrambled eggs is. It's egg curd. So we're going to be working this here. You can kind of see the chunks forming there. And as we get more chunks here, we're going to, again, remove it from the heat. And as we remove it from the heat, it's going to continue to cook, but it's going to allow us greater control. We want small curds in this scrambled eggs. Now, I know what you're thinking, Chris. Don't you have something better to do than to ether John on a Sunday morning? And the answer is no. It really is a fun family activity that really just brings me a great joy. Main reason I did this is because John thinks it's okay to leave the country after he tries to take shots at my breakfast making skills. And I just can't let that fly. Even with him being out of country, he needs to learn his place. So not sure if he'll have reliable enough Wi-Fi to watch this video, but I assume once he gets back to the States, he'll be able to watch this and realize what an absolute fool he's been. And as you can see, it really is starting to cook here very well. The curd is really starting to form here. And yeah, it does look a little bit like an egg paste. And that's actually the goal here, guys. We don't necessarily want massive curds of egg. We want the curds to remain small. I suppose, just like anything, you could have your own preference on eggs, but honestly, eating dry, burnt eggs is akin to eating burnt popcorn. I mean, sure, it's an acquired taste. Yes, I guess so. In the same sense that there's that show where the people eat the shards of glass on My Strange Addiction, I guess you could get into that kind of shit too. But really, this is the only way and the proper way to make scrambled eggs. I know the traditional way is with like a skillet. I don't think that gives you enough control on the temperature and everything like that, and it doesn't allow you to stir as vigorously to prevent the curds from forming because you have lower sides. The curd is really starting to come together here really nicely. These absolutely look fantastic. Lauren actually prefers her eggs. I wasn't going to make a fertilized joke there, but she actually prefers her eggs a little bit on the drier side, so I do tend to cook hers a little bit longer than I cook mine. I like mine to be a little more pliable, and as we get close here, you're going to take it off the heat sooner and sooner here. So And really, this is pretty much it. It is dry and fluffy here. It's not wet, as you can kind of see. It is just a good, nice, fluffy egg. It's really, really, really come together nicely here. Yeah, so as you can see, there isn't any excess water in the pan here. There's no added water. I don't know where this rumor came from, and quite frankly, I don't appreciate it. Never trust the skinny chef, they say, and I certainly meet the bill for that one. So there's your eggs. They are nice, fluffy curds. Yeah, I'll show you the assembly of the burrito here just as kind of an encore presentation, but that's really the main event here, is that John needs to learn his lesson about eggs, and hopefully today this has shown you all exactly what we're doing here. All right, guys, we're back on the other side here. We have our nice crispy air-fried fries here. That's going to make the base of our breakfast burrito here. As you know, starch, just to piss Jake off. We'll put those on there. Our fries, kind of put them in a nice little line here, if you will. And that's going to give us a good base here. And then, yeah, from there, we'll add probably half the eggs. I'm going to put the phone down. All right. And as you can see, as the eggs are added on here, there's no moisture. There's no excess moisture. It's really just fluffy eggs on top of the burrito here. And we're going to use a nice Crystal Farms 3-cheese Mexican blend here for the cheese. And I'll just toss that on there. Everything's still hot. I did heat the tortilla there so that cheese should melt nicely. We'll grab a couple of the strips of bacon here, and we'll just kind of place those in there, fold them up, if you will. Ooh, those are good. Nice and crispy. And then you can kind of do whatever you want to do with it. As you know, I am Minnesotan, so I like to use a little bit of top the tater, which is my version of sour cream with chives. I'm not sure what the dogs are destroying over there, but that's annoying. And then I prefer to get my burritos a little bit Southwest style. So I'm going to use a little bit of Buffalo Wild Wings honey barbecue. And that's pretty much it, guys. I won't show you the rolling because that's not in my wheelhouse, but it is a good burrito. And yeah, so I mean, above all, John, I hope you learned a valuable lesson today. You blew it, and don't try me. Don't come at the king because, yeah, I don't miss. Bye-bye. Yeah.